Welcome to Korean Cinema Channel. Today I would like to send you the following news. The auditorium lights dimmed, and a hush fell over the crowd. Every camera lens, every phone, every pair of eyes was trained on the stage. No one expected what came next then. Like a spark igniting dry tinder, it happened. Wang Mukai stepped forward, his usual composed, almost intimidating demeanor replaced by something raw, vulnerable, a side of him no one had ever seen. He took a deep breath, eyes scanning the sea of spectators before locking on tours. Hae-in, standing at the center of the stage, froze. Her heart skipped. She had rehearsed this moment 1,000 times in her head, but nothing could have prepared her for the reality of his gaze. "I've wanted to say this for years," he began, voice steady but thick with emotion. "From the moment I first saw you. I liked you. I liked you more than I should have. And I've never stopped." Gasps rippled through the audience. Smartphones shook in hands, capturing every second. Fans who had shipped them silently for years couldn't believe what they were witnessing. This wasn't a scripted scene, a promotional stunt, or a short drama performance. It was real, unfiltered confessions. Hae-in's eyes widened, mouth slightly agape. For a moment, she couldn't speak. Her mind raced back to all the moments she had thought were ordinary, the stolen glances, the playful arguments, the subtle touches that lingered too long. Every memory suddenly took on a new light. Her own voice trembled when she finally replied, barely audible, yet piercingly clear to him, I liked you too. I just never thought you'd feel the same." The stage erupted. Flashbulbs blinded the audience, cheers filled the hall, and even the staff backstage couldn't contain their excitement. But amidst all the chaos, there was a pocket of stillness around them, a fragile bubble where only the two of them existed. It wasn't just the confession. It was the timing. Years of silent longing, of missed opportunities, of almosts and might-have-beens, all collapsed into this one explosive moment. Every unspoken word, every glance that lingered too long, every tiny act of courage, had led to this. Fans looted social media within seconds. Comments streamed like wildfire. "I'm dead. They actually confessed. This is not a drill. I'm crying. Can someone please get them a wedding already?" But behind the theatrics, the confessions, and the fanfare, there was something even more potent, the story of youth, of first loves that dared to endure. Hae-in and Wang Mukai hadn't just fallen for each other in a vacuum, they had navigated heartbreak, rivalry, and the silent torture of one-sided feelings. Their love was messy, tender, and painfully real. As they stepped closer, hands brushing, eyes never leaving each other, the crowd faded away. There were no scripts here, no rehearsals, no characters to play. Only two hearts beating faster than the world around them. And just before they sealed their confession with a gentle, unforgettable touch, Wang Mukai whispered softly, so only she could hear, "From that moment on, I've never let my heart rest, and I never will." For a moment, time seemed to freeze. The applause, the flashing lights, the excited murmurs of the audience, all of it melted into a blur around them. Hae-in's hand hovered near his, hesitant, almost afraid to touch what she had longed for. But Wang Mukai didn't wait. He gently took her hand, his fingers warm, steady, and insistent. "You've no idea how many times I rehearsed this in my head," he murmured, voice low, carrying a gravity that made her heart ache. "Every time I saw you smile, every time you laughed, I wanted to tell you, but I couldn't. I didn't know if you'd feel the same. And I was terrified of losing you completely if I spoke." Her chest tightened. She remembered all the fleeting moments over the years, the subtle glances across the set, the way he always made sure she had a jacket when it was cold, the coffee he'd quietly leave on her desk when she stayed late filming. She had thought he was just thoughtful, professional, maybe even distant. But now she saw it for what it truly was, love. I thought maybe you didn't even notice me," she admitted, voice trembling. "All those times I wondered if you felt the same. I didn't know how to ask either." Wang Mukai's thumb brushed over the back of her hand, tracing small, deliberate circles. "Notice you? Every single day. You think I didn't notice how hard you worked, how you laughed at my terrible jokes, how you got frustrated but never gave up? I noticed everything. And I loved it all. Loved you, more than I probably should." The audience was still clapping and cheering, but it might as well have been silent. To anyone watching, it was a public confession. To them, it was private, sacred, and infinitely intimate. Every shared glance, every unspoken promise, every suppressed heartbeat of the past few years had led to the singular, shattering moment. Hae-in's lips curved into a tentative smile, her eyes glistening with tears. I love you too," she whispered. And I've been scared to say it because I didn't want to ruin what we already had." He laughed softly, a sound full of relief and disbelief, like someone finally exhaling after holding their breath for too long. "You can't ruin what's already ours. You never could. I've waited for this moment longer than I can count. And now it's ours." For the first time, the walls they had carefully built around themselves crumbled. His hand held hers firmly, yet gently, as if to anchor both of them against the whirlwind of emotions. Their gazes locked, unblinking, a silent conversation passing between them, words unnecessary, for every heartbeat and every glance said it all. Even the cameras couldn't capture the depth of the moment, the quiet intensity, the almost unbearable sweetness of a love long denied but now fully claimed. The audience cheered, yes, but the real magic was in the unspoken, the subtle brush of fingers, the quick inhale as they leaned closer, and the promise lingering in the space between them. And as Wang Mukai finally leaned in, resting his forehead against hers, he whispered words meant only for her ears. "From the first day, I've never stopped loving you, and I never will. Thank you for watching my channel. See you in the next videos. Thanks."